Hey, good morning, everyone. You're watching Breakfast Television on City. Thanks for turning us on this morning. We're talking parenting advice right now, how to navigate the holidays specifically if you're a divorced or separated parent with kids. And our parenting expert, Julie Freedman Smith, joining us this morning with some advice. And you said, Ted, off the top, you got to kind of not pretend it's something that it's not, and especially if it's the first time for families going through this,
yes,
right?
definitely. And you know, if the families are, if everybody's collaborating and working together and it can work smoothly, wonderful.
Yeah.
And yet with many restructured families, that is not the case at all.
It usually isn't.
And so trying to force somebody into something is just not worth the effort. So our first thought is get really clear on the logistics of it. Who's got whom for what dates? How are they being taken there? How are they being brought back? What do they need?
Times that pickups are happening,
yes,
all
just
that
get
stuff.
all that stuff clear, because those are the things you kind of have to talk about.
Yeah.
And then leave the other person's household alone and focus on what's going to happen in your household, because that's what you can control.
Sure.
So that's tip number one. Tip number two, and this is really what you said at the outset, is let's not pretend that it's the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So some people try to kind of completely do all the traditions that happened before, but then it's like there's a missing hole, like the person's been cut out of it, the person who's not there. So instead of trying to make it that perfect thing, appreciate that it's going to be different, and maybe even try to come up with a few things that you are going to do differently.
Traditions, perhaps,
so
right?
Talk with your kid. You know, we're less than a month out, but talk about, so what are some of the things that we know we want to do, and what could we do differently this year? What's something we've never done that can be the way our household celebrates this holiday, instead of just relying on all the old traditions?
And you probably should get going on having those conversations with your kids now.
Now.
Because
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is like the night before.
Oh, no.
Say, this is what we're doing. And they're like, what? This isn't the way we normally do it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of conversations you could be having this weekend, or the
Okay.
next weekend that you have your kids at home. Well, how do we want this to look? We know it's not going to look the same, so how is it going to be tried this year? You know, is there a new recipe we want to try? Should we all go skating somewhere? What could we do differently?
Something new, yes.
And then the other thing to remember for all families is that the holiday season is like heightened emotions on every level.
Okay.
So let's not pretend that we're going to give our kids the happiest time of the year and everybody can only be happy, because it's at these times of the year where sometimes we are really missing that other person in the family and thinking about what it used to be and wondering what it might be. And so just allowing that there could be lots of feelings, maybe giving people time to be able to go off on their own a little bit.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Just this is a changing time, and so just being truthful about it, instead of, hey, we're going to have a happy time, no one's allowed to be sad.
Do you recommend also building in, like letting the kids obviously have some space if they need it, but as a parent, you may need it too.
You may. And you may not be able to get it.
Yeah.
Although there are probably ways that we can all do that a little bit. So
Sure.
is there another relative that's joining you? Can you go off and take a walk or do something? You know, are the kids going to watch a Christmas movie and you can just go
Take a
and
break,
have a cry
zone out for a little bit,
or
yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
need to do. So just be fair. Be fair to everybody instead of trying to make it something that it's not.
Okay. Good advice.
Thank you.
It is an edgy time of year, possibly,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
And this kind of heightens it for sure. Thanks,
Yeah.
Julie. Good sound advice. I appreciate that. I'm sure
Thank
lots
you.
of people, I've been through it personally. You can get through it. I'm on the good side of it now.
Yes,
but
for
it
sure.
does work out. It really does. Thanks, Julie.